Free Sensov. My name is Askold Kurov. I'm a documentary film director from Russia, and I made the film The Trial, The State of Russia versus Oleg Sensov. I know Oleg Sensov 3 years before he was arrested in Crimea after Russia annexed Crimea, and Oleg Sensov is Ukrainian film director who was born in Crimea and lived in Crimea and made his films in Crimea. So when he was arrested and moved to Moscow for investigation and put to security prison, I went to court trials just as his friend, and I followed this case. And then I decided to make this movie to tell people about Sentsov's story, to tell about this situation, because we really have a very difficult situation in Russia to political prisoners. We have Russian political prisoners, and now we have Ukrainian political prisoners. Nobody knows the exact amount. It's about 80, and nothing changed. Hopefully now, when this negotiation proceeds, they started to discuss this exchange between Russia and Ukraine, because in Ukraine we also have Russians imprisoned, but still Oleg Sensov is not in the list of people who are to be exchanged. I've seen Oleg 1 month and a half. Now he's in high security prison colony on the north. This is polar circle. It's very, very hard to be there for him. But he still works a lot. He has many plans about his new movies. He works a lot on his new scripts to his movies, on his new books. So he's very strong, and so for me he is an example of how to stay strong. We managed to show this film few times, but it gets harder and harder every year, because now we have this censorship. Every film you want to show in Russia must have special permission from Ministry of Culture. So this is another tools of censorship. But last year, when Oleg Sentsov went to a hunger strike, he demanded to release all Ukrainian political prisoners. We put this film online on YouTube on the territory of Russia and Ukraine, so everybody in Russia has this ability to watch this film. It's very, very hard to be sentenced for 20 years, and unfortunately no hope for fast release, because when it was still investigation on Oleg's case, and once Oleg said during the court hearing that he's not afraid of this term of 20 years, because he believes that this regime in Russia will finish much earlier than 20 years. But now we see that it's already 5 years since Oleg was arrested in Crimea, so time passes. But I still do believe that Oleg will be released earlier, much earlier than 20 years. And I hope that some positive changes in Russia is possible, because I see now that we have new generation of young people who starting to join the protest movement in Russia, and I see how this system, this state system, gets worse and helpless. I think every time I hope that it's possible. Actually, when I was filming this documentary, I tried to have this distance from any activism, because you need this distance to observe the situation, to be somebody who watching the situation. But it was impossible because I had time to time to join to be involved in this situation. And after film was released 2 years ago, I realized that this film is actually a part of the campaign to support Oleg Sensov, and it became a worldwide international campaign. And I go to different film festivals with this film because I know that this is another ability to involve people to this activity, to this campaign, because sometimes people who watch this film, they join the campaign, they start to press their local politicians, to influence somehow the situation, because sometimes they can reach people who can reach Putin or Russian government, and this is important. First of all, this gave a new status to Oleg Sentsov. He's a Sakharov Prize laureate. This means that European Union recognizes him as political prisoners. This is very important. This means that they absolutely believe he is innocent and no charges against him are false. And of course it increased the interest of him. On the day of ceremony in Strasbourg at European Parliament, there was a screening of this film in European Parliament. So this helps film also to be this tool in this campaign. That helps because, as I said, now he is not only Ukrainian film director imprisoned in Russia. Now he is Sakharov Prize laureate, and for some people this is very important, and this is one more reason to fight for him, to stand for him. And I know that in some countries, in France, for example, it was a huge campaign in support of Oleg Sensov, and I know that French president, he all the time he discusses the problem of political prisoners and Oleg Sensov personally to Vladimir Putin when he met him. You know, yesterday it was exactly 4 years since Oleg Sensov was sentenced in Russia, and this is a long time, and you know that it's very easy to be forgotten. You know, Oleg Sensov, he became a symbol of all Ukrainian political prisoners, but not only, as a symbol of political prisoners in Russia itself. This is very important to keep focus on this problem. So I ask everybody to learn more about this case and to join the campaign, and please spread the word. Free Oleg Sentsov.